Hello everyone, welcome to the All Day Football Show. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Kellogg, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So, as some of you may know, the Madden 22 ratings came out about a week ago at this point. So I thought, being a Patriots fan, I play Madden religiously, might as well just go over how I feel about the ratings. Now, the ratings haven't changed much from what they were at the end of Madden 21. So they're very similar in that aspect, but we'll see differences when the game comes out in different dev traits. As the season goes on, players will definitely change in their overalls. But there were a lot of things in just the Patriots alone that I felt was not very accurate. So we're going to go through that. So just top player alone, Stefan Gilmore, 97 overall. Have no problem with Gilmore and McCourty being the 1 and 2 as the best players. I'm actually surprised McCourty has a 91 speed, getting up there in age. He's not so much getting slow, but we could be getting to that point where he'll be a detriment to the deep ball. But we're not there yet. Gilmore dropped a little bit from being a 99 as he was injured last year, didn't play at his same Defensive Player of the Year elite level, but still up there at a high overall. Dante Hightower coming in at the third best player, 87 overall. He did take the year off, so we'll see if that has any changes on his game. But from what we've heard and read from training camp so far is that he's been no steps lost. He's the same player he was before he left. The first high overall addition from free agency or whatnot, Hunter Henry at tight end spot, 87 overall. Hopefully he has a superstar dev trait, because if not, then this offense would be very difficult to run in Madden itself, because there'd be no other superstar players on there. If I had to guess right now, Gilmore's going to be X Factor, McCourty's going to be superstar, and Trent Brown's going to be star, but he was superstar last year. And then J.C. Jackson or Jonathan Jones might be superstar. That's about it. So this team in general in Madden will be difficult to develop and play with, but at the moment, we don't know what those levels are going to be. It's just basing off of what they were last year. And last year had Gilmore X Factor, McCourty X Factor, and Trent Brown superstar. The O-line gets a lot of love here. You got Trent Brown as the highest overall offensive lineman, tied with Shaq Mason. They bumped Shaq Mason up a little bit, I believe, in his overall. Shaq Mason, one of the best run blockers in the league. Could work on his passing blocking, though. Other corners on the team getting some love. J.C. Jackson, corner number 2, at an 85. Jonathan Jones at an 83. I actually believe both of these guys should be a bit higher. J.C. Jackson should probably be at around an 87, 88. Jonathan Jones somewhere around an 86. Jonathan Jones is one of the best slot corners in the league. The problem is that there's not a designated role for that. So any position that has a designated role, like a slot receiver or a slot corner or a third down running back, any of these positions where they're designated as something, or an edge rusher, that's one thing Madden definitely does not do. It has an issue when it comes to the game with running things. Matt Judon, the next addition from the offseason, 82 overall. His problem with the last Madden was, so when the season ends, a lot of people will do the changes and make roster updates to fall along with the draft and free agent signings. So I got to play with Judon with a custom roster update in the last game, and his problem was he would go from an 82 overall, and then the next year would drop to like a 77. So his overall drops from age decreased tremendously. So hopefully they change that a bit in this one, as that was a little obnoxious. Isaiah Wynn, Michael Onwenu is the lowest overall starting offensive lineman for us at an 80. It has been statistically debunked that in Madden, unless they're superstar traits, that the O-line doesn't really grant you that much of a difference no matter the overall. I wonder if that has been changed at all, but blocking in general in Madden has just been atrocious with target blocking. We'll see if that has any changes on top of it. Kyle Van Noy comes back to play at the outside linebacker spot. Jonnu Smith See, this is going to be an issue where with the Patriots, IRL, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are probably going to be more of a rotation. But in Madden, you can't really do that as well. So Jonnu Smith honestly might be a good trade option unless you're going to run exclusively 2 tight ends. Or else you're going to be paying Jonnu Smith a lot of money to kind of sit the bench. But he's still a great player to develop. He'll probably be a star dev along with Hunter Henry. Nelson Aguilera, the highest rated wide receiver coming in, was brought in the offseason. His speed should be higher, at least a 93. They did him dirty at a 91. Known for being a deep threat, speeding past players. Little upset they did that. If you could trade giving him a bit more speed for taking away some of his catch, it'd be a little nice. Chase Winovich coming in at the left end spot at a 79. Chase Winovich really hasn't been a whole big of a factor in what's been going on at training camp. He's injured, so he hasn't necessarily been practicing. But the front 7 without him looks amazing. So there might be a situation where Chase Winovich gets himself traded or moved from the team. 2 running backs coming in at the high 70s, 79, Sony Michelle, 78, James White. We also have a 78, Adrian Phillips. All these guys are role players that come in as they're in starting roles, but more gadget types, as Sony Michelle, not really a catching guy. If he's in, you're going to run the ball. Although he has apparently been working on catching and on passing routes. In training camp, James White's a third down back. He's a passing role guy. You're not going to use him too much in Madden, especially to run the ball. Even IRL, he's not used that much. Kyle Duggar, the highest overall player from last year's draft class for the Patriots, coming in at 78. He's coming into his own, and he looks like he's going to be a great player for the Patriots. I'm hoping in Madden they gave him a star dev so that you can make him a stud. Going on to the next page here, this is where you start to see a lot of guys that, Madden doesn't necessarily take into their value so much that they bring to the Patriots, but more so just giving them slapping an overall on him. Like Lawrence Guy should probably be about an 80 because he's an amazing run stuffer. Kendrick Bourne I'm fine with, 77 overall. He still has room to develop. Cam Newton should not be a 76 overall. And not because I think he's too low. After last year's performance, Cam Newton was atrocious. And there's a lot of overall movements in here that just go to show that Madden doesn't pay attention to how players do in the previous years. Just look at J.J. Watt's overall. Dietrich Wise, I think, should maybe be a little bit lower, but I'm not going to complain about that. Jake Bailey should be one of the highest overall punters, but he's probably not, coming in at a 76. Damian Harris was one of PFF's highest graded running backs last year, and he still sits at a 75 overall. Jacoby Myers is still only a 75 overall after being the Patriots' #1 wide receiver last year. Juwan Bentley coming in at middle linebacker. He didn't play great last year as being one of the main players there, coming in at a 74. Jaylen Mills is listed as a strong safety, but I think he's going to be playing a bit more corner, which apparently he hasn't been doing that great with in training camp. But nonetheless, he's the backup strong safety in Madden, apparently at a 74 overall. Christian Barmore, our highest overall rookie from this past class. I am so upset with Mac Jones's rating. That should be a bit higher, at least to like a 73, 74. But, thrown in at a 71, so that's always great. Wait till you get to see Ronnie Perkins overall. Josh Uche coming in at a 73. I don't know why he's still listed at an outside linebacker spot. I guess he's been working more on the inside with Hightower, so I'm hoping that after a couple weeks IRL and he's playing at the inside role, that they give Uche a bit of a switch to the middle. Keel Harry, 73. Ted Care's highest overall backup at 71. Nick Folk, kicker, coming in at 73. I'm hoping Quinn Nordin wins the kicking battle. Apparently he's been doing amazing in camp. But but he's not listed in the ratings. Then we start to get into our low overalls. Raekwon McMillan coming in at 69. Brendan Bolden, 68. Cody Davis, more of a special teams guy, 68. J.J. Taylor and Ramondre Stevenson, both. We have 3 68 overall running backs. I don't think that makes any sense. Any player that opted out last year, they gave them their overall back. So Brendan Bolden from the previous Madden was a 68 overall. They just gave it back to him. I kind of don't understand that, but at the same time, it's hard to evaluate somebody who didn't play. J.J. Taylor and Ramondre Stevenson, both good to see them up at a decent overall to where you could possibly develop them. Anthony Jennings kind of got dropped down in his overall. Going to be tough to develop him. Same with Byron Cowart. Same with Montravius Adams, who they brought Adams in this past offseason. Dalton Keene, Devin Asiasi, 66 overalls at tight end. They're both kind of a no-show in Madden now, as you're not with Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. These guys will never be on the field unless you go 3 tight ends. So you might as well just get rid of them if there's not that big of a cut hit. But notice here, Ronnie Perkins, our 3rd round pick. So Joshua Bledsoe, who is a 5th round pick, or 6th round pick, I'm sorry. Cameron McGrone was the 5th rounder. Bledsoe comes in at a 65 overall. Decent, but he's not going to do anything for you in Madden. You flip to the next page here. You got Slater at a 64, Miles Bryant at a 64. Ronnie Perkins is listed at a 64 overall in Madden after being a 3rd round pick. That's just straight atrocious and so annoying to have to deal with. Although I don't think he's going to get a lot of playing time this season and being more of a rotational piece, hopefully he plays enough and significantly enough for that overall to be changed throughout the season. Because at this moment, it's almost pointless to use Ronnie Perkins in Madden. A lot of these guys, it's kind of pointless. These are going to be more of your depth rotational pieces in case a guy gets injured. Mind you, these are all basically for franchise. If you're playing just online in a head-to-head or whatnot, the Patriots aren't going to be the team you're going to want to play as they're not going to have a lot of superstar X-Factor players. Especially offensively, you're not going to have a running back that's going to be fun to use, as none of them are really fast per se. So if you're running it in franchise, though, you could trade Cam for a haul, develop Mac in the first year, and then see what you can. If the defense after the first year doesn't have too much regressions in age, you can keep it the same. Or if after a bit it's figured out that the regressions are pretty heavy, you could blow it up, as a lot of those guys will have a lot of they won't have a lot of dead money left, and you could move them relatively easy, rebuild that defense. The offense is going to be a pain. If you're a good user, then you're going to have a lot of dev trait games where it's going to be, oh, so-and-so get 100 yards or 2 touchdowns, and their dev trait will change. Hopefully, a lot of those things have changed with the new Madden updates. Looking forward to the new scouting, looking forward to the new coaching trees. Going to be very fun to see that all play out. And one thing that's special that will be coming over the next couple months is maybe we'll get some Madden going on this channel to be played. I'm not the greatest Madden player at all in any retrospect, but I do have a lot of fun playing franchise and just building teams from there. Some just being stupid ones where it's trying to be as excessive as possible, some being more realistic. But yeah, anything competitive will definitely stay off screen because I am just so bad at it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Would be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next video.